Hi, welcome. It's Jeff with Armadillo Pepper, the hot sauce, barbecue sauce, jerky, and fiery snack store. Today I'm going to show you a really simple way to dry all those hot peppers that you grew this summer. Now when I lived in the Midwest, I used to take each hot pepper, I would take a needle and some fishing line, string it through each pepper, hang it up, it would dry just great. But down here in Florida, I guess it's because of all the humidity, that just doesn't work for me. The peppers end up molding inside the pepper. So today what we're going to do is I will show you, this is just so simple, it's not very expensive. You can dry all your peppers so that you'll have them throughout the winter. It's really quite easy. What we're going to do is use a very low-cost dehydrator. I mean, obviously you can get really nice ones for several $100s, if not more. The one I'm going to show you today cost me less than $40 at your favorite big box store. Now you don't have to, but what I like to do is cut the peppers in half. The only reason I do that is because when you start the dehydrating, it just goes a little faster. I've actually done it both ways, where I didn't cut them, just left them whole, and it just takes longer. Now, if you're going to cut them in half, I highly recommend gloves. You know, you may wear contacts, whatever. You don't want to start cutting these peppers open and then reach up and touch your eye or touch your face. It could be bad news. Now, you know, one of the questions I've been asked before is, should I take the stems off? You don't really have to. You're going to dry these guys up, and then we're going to blend them up or grind them up. So there's really no need to. If you want to take off the stems, take them off. But what I do is I just go in and I just cut each pepper in half. It just helps, as I mentioned, with the drying process. Here's a ghost pepper I had from this year. I've just got a whole mix. I like to grow quite a few peppers each year. I've got some ghost, I've got some cayenne, some habanero, quite a few different peppers, even some milder serranos here, serranos. So anyway, what I'm going to do is cut each of these in two, and then once I've got that all done, I'll show you what we do with the dehydrator. Alright, we've got all of our peppers, you can see. They're all cut in half, and we're ready to put these guys in the dehydrator. Now, I probably should mention a couple of things. What I did the day before was rinse them all off real good, put them in a colander, and then let them dry. You don't want to put wet peppers in your dehydrator. It would just take that much longer for them to dry. The other benefit that I probably should mention of slicing them in half, if you notice, the peppers are different shapes, different thicknesses. When you cut them in half, it actually helps them all dry about in the same amount of time. When you leave the peppers whole, in my experience, what you'll do is you'll find some of the thinner peppers will get dry first, and then you'll have to take them off and continue to check for the thicker peppers. All right, we have our dehydrator here. It's a quite simple device. As I mentioned earlier, I think I paid less than $40 for it. It has this lid, and then what it has is 4 trays that you can put peppers on each tray. Again, you can get much more sophisticated dehydrators than this one, but if you're looking for a low-cost way to preserve all those peppers that you grew this year, this is certainly a good way to go. Now, all you have to do then is take each pepper and place it on the dehydrator. You just don't want them to touch. I mean, it's not like you have to leave them a ½ inch apart or a ¼ inch apart. Just don't have them touching. As long as air can circulate around all sides, then they will dry fairly consistently. So what I would do is, load each of these trays up, and then we'll turn on the dehydrator. We have all of our peppers sliced up. You'll see I have the first tray here. It just sits right in the dehydrator, and then each tray that you have your peppers on just stacks right on top. Pretty straightforward, right? And you can see we've got them all cut up here. And then you just put the top on this guy, and then we will plug it in. Now, if you notice, it's a little noisy. I just put this on my back porch for 2 reasons. 1, we don't have to listen to the noise, and then 2, as these peppers start to dry, you're going to get a strong pepper smell. So for me, it's awesome, but everybody in my family, they don't quite appreciate the smell of the peppers like I do. So I just put this guy on the back porch. You know, it's covered here in case it, you know, rains or something here in Florida. No problem. Obviously, it's an electrical device. You don't want it to get wet. Okay, it's been about 18 hours, maybe 18 and a half. And now you can see our peppers. You can check them. You see how they snap in two? That means they're dry. If you get one and kind of like this one can use some more. Actually, it even falls in two, but sometimes if they're not done, when you go to bend them, they'll just bend back and forth and they won't snap in two. So anyway, when they're nice and crispy like this, they're done. Now what I will do is next I'll ground these up and I'll have dried peppers throughout the winter. Okay, what I like to do here is you can just put these guys in your blender. I've got this little one here I like to use for the peppers. Oops. Just give you an idea just enough how this works. And I hope you can see that. We've got some nice ground peppers. You can ground them up. I've still got a couple pieces here that are a little bit larger, but you can just grind them up as fine as you'd like. All right, you can see we've got all of our dried peppers here. You know, a nice little container full. And really, it's just that easy. One of these inexpensive dehydrators. Again, the time is going to depend on if you cut the peppers or not and what kind of peppers you use. I think this was just a little over 18 hours. And then you just grind them up in a blender and you're all ready to go. Again, my name is Jeff with Armadillo Pepper. Thanks for watching. You can check us out at armadillopepper.com or see what we're up to over on Facebook.